Hi everyone, it's Glitter. What's going on? You're on my inaugural live video on YouTube. I said I have to do this live. I have a wonderful, wonderful show in store. Have you guys subscribed, liked, and added me and shared this video? Because you know we're going to be discussing some stuff. So hello everyone this early. We're excited to see you. And so today we're going to be talking about Ghana. Everybody wants to move to Africa. That is the trending topic. Everybody wants to go back and forth to Ghana. But let's talk about the realities, what really works, what really doesn't, and what you can do if you are thinking about making that move. And without further ado, I have an expert who has tried it out and is back now, but may go back. So let me bring in Priya. Hold on, guys. Hi, Priya.
Hey, Glitter. What's up, sugar?
What's going on with you today?
I'm great. Enjoying sunny Los Angeles.
You're looking like you're glowing, girl. You're looking like you're glowing. Is that Ghana left glow or Cali glow?
Oh, could be the Cali glow, actually. I've been gone for almost 2 months from Ghana now, so it's the Cali glow. We'll give credit to the U.S. for that one.
So let me just jump right in. Priya, tell me a little bit about yourself before we move into your move in Ghana. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you are, and then we're going to go into these questions.
So I like to call myself a creative of all creatives. I'm like a Jill of all trades, and I love to I love to connect creatives to opportunities and ideas, and so I'm very good with connecting dots with people, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm also an entrepreneur. I had my own website selling beachwear and swimwear. I've done expert interviews on TV and in magazines about, fit and style and fashion as it relates to swim and resort wear for women. Yeah. And I decided to go to Ghana after attending the Year of Return.
Oh, you went right into my next question. So go ahead. Tell us why you decided to move to Ghana and what kind of inspired you.
So the Year of Return was a great experience, right? Most people really enjoyed themselves. Got to experience Ghana from a tourist perspective. So that's key, right? Going to visit versus living. Exactly. So when I went to visit, everything was hunky-dory because it was a huge marketing what do you call that, Aisha? Like
the bells and whistles with all the feathers and glow, the smoke screen. The Diaspora Return was a little bit of a smoke screen to get everybody back. We understand that. Yes.
Fair enough. Yes. And so I drank the Kool-Aid, and I decided to go. You drank the Kool-Aid, and there was no forcing. So I said, okay, the U.S. was in a huge turmoil with COVID.
Yes.
And nothing was moving. We were on lockdown. It was depressing. I was like, I got to get out of here. And I get that bug, that travel bug. So not being able to move and travel was like,
yes,
it was too hard for me. Right. So I left, and I actually left to pursue an opportunity with the company. They were actually going to send me to South Africa, which, shout out to anybody from South Africa watching. I love my people, and I love South Africa, actually. They have some issues, just like anywhere else, obviously, that are still in the works of being resolved, and they have a lot of political unrest, and we get it, right? But I do love that country. So I was like, okay, plus I'm familiar because I lived there for a while. Okay. So I said, okay, I'll take this opportunity and go to South Africa. So the problem was they weren't letting Americans into South Africa because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I had to make there you go. And the pivot was to Ghana. And I thought, okay, that's familiar because I'd already been to the Year of Return. Let me just go, feel it out, see it out. Long story short, that job in South Africa didn't pan out. So I ended up stuck in Ghana. I'll use the word stuck because maybe I shouldn't use the word stuck. That's kind of...
You decided to stay in Ghana because you could come back to the U.S.
That's correct. So I decided to stay. And I said, well, let's see what Ghana has to offer. Because they were, the marketing around it was the diasporians come back to Africa, bring your innovation, bring your knowledge, bring, your ideas, and we need you. And what they didn't say is, make sure you bring lots of money to chop.
Yes, chop money.
Chop money. So what I realized was that was more of the motivation, it seems like.
Yeah.
To get the diasporians over.
Yeah.
Because from where I sit and what I can see, I don't think that the Ghanaian government has a full throttle plan for the local economy. So to bring foreigners with their foreign money to spend is like their plan.
Yes.
I don't know how that's going to work or if that's working or whatever. But so to your point, it's like, don't go there thinking it's the promised land. It's not. There's a lot of things that still need to be developed. Yeah. And I think that if we had gone in a drove, like looking for, hey, you guys said to come, yeah, it would have been a huge disaster.
Exactly. Which a lot of people are, I've seen a lot of people going back and coming back too. But you touched on something, which is something that I also noticed when I went to Ghana. What's the cost of living? It's really, really expensive for expatriates in Ghana. Price points, meaning everything is in doulas. Not cedis, doulas. Everything is in doulas. Everything is expensive, inflated.
Very expensive.
Some of the money and spending and how it was navigating, that situation, because people live on maybe like $100 or $70 or $50 a month, but you really end up spending thousands if you live there monthly. But tell me more about that.
Well, I, just like you, went to Accra. So that's the capital city. It's probably arguably the biggest city in Ghana, would you say?
Yeah, it's one of the most bustling city, one of the bustling cities of Ghana. Mm-hmm.
Right. So yes, the cost of living is very high, which is not something you expect. Because when I went to South Africa, I found myself able to have a great quality of life with not having to spend as much money, especially when you have foreign dollars. The currency exchange is much better in Africa. Yeah. It's unfortunate for South Africans, obviously, but it does behoove us to have foreign dollars. In Ghana, you're so let's say South Africa could be anywhere from 13 to 15 to 1. So $1 would be about 15 rands. Okay. Yeah. In Ghana, $1 is 6 cedis. Yeah. Sometimes 5.
Less.
So the Ghanaian currency is much stronger.
Yeah.
Against our foreign currency.
Absolutely.
But the quality of life to me is not there for the amount of money that you spend. So unless you have a lot of money, and I'm coming from New York, so now I'm used to quality of life not being great as well, right? And you spend a lot of money, but it's New York City. No, this is real, right? It's New York City. You got everything at your fingertips. You got everything at your fingertips, literally. Absolutely. So that's the draw, and the energy, and the entertainment, and the just the access to things, fashion, food, you name it, concerts, sporting.
Exactly.
And where I think Ghana is a little bit slower is that there's no, you could spend $2,000 on an apartment and you walk outside and the road isn't paved. That doesn't make sense to me. I really would like, if I could shout out anything, I say, can we get the road situation resolved there? There's no reason why a capital city has roads that are not done.
Yes. Yes.
It's bad. It's hard to maneuver. It doesn't make transporting anything easy. And then it's just like, it's an eyesore. I'm sorry.
So let me get this straight. You're paying maybe $2,000 rent. Let's say for a 1-bedroom. It's not a mansion. You're just in a base, like a 1-bedroom apartment. It's nice area. So $2,000, and then you go outside and the roads are not paved. And is the light constant? How is the light? How is the power system? How is the light?
Girl.
I don't know nothing.
So what I think is funny is that what I think is interesting is that $2,000 you spend is on the higher end, right? And that offers you a power generator that will kick in when the power goes out, and it can do it multiple times a day. Yeah. The thing is, if you're paying for electricity, every time it kicks back in, it uses a lot of electricity.
Oh, I didn't know there's a surge.
Yes.
Oh, the generator uses your never knew that.
So electricity is a big issue. And to me, I think like there are other countries that have planned blackouts or brownouts or whatever you call them. So once a day, from 12 to 2, there will be no power. So
after you left Ghana, I think they started doing that. The Doom Soar, they started that in Ghana too. But I don't know how,
okay.
I don't know how regular or if it's even true to form, because I've heard from people that it doesn't. It sometimes it can be longer or a day instead of like a couple of hours
without and there's no sign of like when it's going to come back. It's too much. I mean, you melt. And as a foreigner coming there, I was like, I ain't used to this. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm in here melting. And, it can really it can wear on you. So the power thing is annoying if you don't have a power generator. But again, you can get the power generator, but you're going to spend more and your electricity will be higher. So you see what I'm saying? So there's just,
so you're paying that amount for you, right? How is it? Let's say you wanted to look for a job. What is the job salaries compared to paying a $2,000 rent? And how is the job market for diasporans that want to return and are still at working age? They can still work. They're not retirees, because retirees get the Social Security. They get some retirement money from, back home. But how is that compared to like, you spending this money? What does it look like trying to find a job and the salaries compared to what you're paying out of pocket for rent, food, and, miscellaneous?
So I never experienced that because I didn't have a job. Okay. Remember, I was saying in the beginning, my job was going to be in South Africa. I was going to go, but all of that didn't work out. So the real thing, I think, with what you're asking is that foreigners are used to getting paid X amount of money for the work that they do. And Americans typically, because it's a US dollar, it's going to be higher than what the local people would be used to. So the problem then is that there's no real economy for the local people for us to compete. It's just the disparity is too high. So a local person will work for 500 cedis a month. What is that? $100? We can't work for $100 a month. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's where the disparity gets a little weird. And you also have to have a, what is this thing called? The work permit or the residence permit or something like that in order to get work. So that's going to cost you money. And then a company has to sponsor you. And then, so there's all these things that can become an issue with that.
Absolutely.
And then, now I've heard even Ghanaians complain about this, not just foreigners. It's the contracts. Why don't y'all like to sign contracts? I don't understand.
Like, they don't like to sign contracts? Talk a little bit more about that. What does that mean?
It's just like a struggle to get them to sign a contract. It's like, how do you think someone's going to work without a contract, especially a foreigner? Like you have to have something in place to first of all, we have to have visas, because otherwise it's illegal to work. I mean, you can work, but it's not legal. So then there's all those legalities. So then how do you expect that to work? You know what I mean? And I've actually heard a lot of Ghanaians also complain about that there's a lot of runaround, that there's a lot of, and then there's no action. There's no, nothing moves forward. And I also experienced that. And I don't feel alone, because I think a lot of people have experienced that. Not just me or not just Americans. It is something that is constant there. And so when you start hearing stories about the 419s, I don't know if everybody watching knows what a 419 is, but it's scammers.
Yes.
When you hear those horror stories, you immediately go to, well, why don't they want to sign a contract?
Is
this so it can wear on you after a while, because you really, it's important for people to sign contracts for people that they're contracting.
I didn't know that. I learned something new every day. So how was the healthcare system in Ghana? Did you get sick while you were out there?
I can't answer that with true honesty, because I didn't have any situation. Oh, what I will say was that I was extremely impressed with Ghana's protocol around COVID. Okay. You have to wear a mask. You have to sanitize and wash your hands before going into a building. You have to take your temperature. And the people whose job it is to do that, they serious about their jobs. They're like, no, ma'am, where's your mask? Sanitize your hand, wash it. And they won't let you move without doing that. And so the protocol, I think, has done a lot for Ghana in terms of keeping the COVID numbers down.
Exactly.
What I noticed too at the airport, extremely organized. Didn't you notice that when you came in? It was
I feel like it seems like a money making plan.
Well, but the organization around it was great. Like all that other stuff,
yes.
Everybody got their thing, but the way that it was organized was actually admirable. I thought that Ghana was very impressive to see that these developing or third world countries have better protocol than our country.
Yeah.
And people don't have a problem. Like they're more agreeable in the sense that, all right, if there's something wrong and we got to do this, we'll do it. Nobody likes to do it, but they do it. And in America, it's just different. And I feel like that's probably why the rates of COVID are continuing
are much lower there. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that it's very impressive on the side of Ghana that they have that, that they have that under control, and getting tested is relatively easy. But if you're not a Ghanaian, you have to pay for it. So, it's just little stuff like that. I didn't have the experience, and I'm thankful.
I had to go to the clinic while I was there.
I did actually.
You did, right? Exactly. I
this
you did.
ring got stuck on my finger, and it wouldn't come off, and I had to go to the emergency room because my finger was turning blue. And girl, the doctor tried to take a pair of scissors. Now, I don't know if you could see on camera how thick this ring is, but he tried to take a pair of not even surgical scissors, some blunt scissors to cut this thing off of my finger. I was like, sir, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. And I literally could have walked out of that place without paying. But because I knew a friend of a friend was the owner of that clinic, I was like, all right, I'm going to do the right thing. But I could have walked right out of there and not paid for anything. The administration is very unorganized. It wasn't, and I don't want to name the clinic because maybe they're working on that now. I did give the owner my feedback in person. So,
When I went to the clinic, they were taking money. As soon as you registered, you had to go pay 200 cedis. As soon as you moved to another thing, you had to pay the next money. As soon as you were going for testing, you had to pay the next money. So the kind of money that I paid for my medical care, I know an average person in Ghana can't pay that.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
So it was going towards 1,000 cedis, and that's a lot of money, to go for healthcare. So imagine a person, a run-of-the-mill Ghanaian on the ground. Would you be able to just cough out 1,000 cedis, and you hadn't gotten anything done yet? I hadn't even gotten my medicine. So you think about that, I'm saying they charge every step of the way compared to here where there's, they do have insurance there. I don't know what the policy is, but I know that healthcare can get expensive, and healthcare, if you don't go to the right places, is not adequate. And that was a problem for me.
In all fairness, I think the U.S.'s healthcare is questionable in a lot of ways too.
It's sketchy.
So I don't think it's only the developing countries that are struggling with that. I think America is fairly as, suspect.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably why a lot of developing countries resort to homeopathic healing. They go into their cupboard, they get herbs, they use the earth, and and they get through what they get through because you can't rely on the medical system a lot unless you have a lot of money.
Exactly. And like you said, Ghana is very expensive. It's really expensive. It's not cheap. Like, what would go a long way for some people is not going to go a long way, especially if you don't know how to maneuver, you don't know people there, and you have to maybe stay at a hotel or whatever. It's very expensive, even if you have to get an apartment. Apartments on average are starting from $600 to thousands to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
But your $600 apartment is going to be way out somewhere.
It is. It's definitely going to, like, I had to go to Spintex to get that kind of rent.
Right. And then you had power outages because they didn't have a generator.
Left and right. The power was on doom. So I've never had power out so many times. My power did go out a lot. So what are some of the things that you enjoyed being in Ghana?
Oh,
compared to
okay.
being in the US?
So I would say the food. Food is good. The people are lots of fun, especially the women. First, let me shout out the women in Ghana. I think I found that at least the ones that I encountered, extremely smart, extremely enterprising, extremely wise. You know, and they bring a lot to the table. To the table. Now, the men are interesting.
Tell us about the men and dating in Ghana. I want to know what happened there. Dating and the men in Ghana. Oh, Ghanaian men will give you a holla. Oh.
I don't,
Keep it on it. Keep it on it.
Okay, they're interesting. And so to define interesting, I would say, I think they're used to being pampered by their mothers a lot. And so that can translate to me negatively in dating, because I like men who want to be men. I'm a straight woman. I want a straight man who's comfortable being a man and very comfortable in his space and role as a man. Provide, protect. You know, that is important to me, right? So I find that, and it was never my experience, thank God, that any man wanted me to give him money for anything. But I know people who got romance scammed and who were, so you have to be careful, okay? The romance scamming is apparently pretty big there. Like I said, I'm thankful it was not my experience, but I did, have friends and associates who dealt with that. So, I find that in my experience, Nigerian men, which is a bordering country, tend to be a little bit more, help me out, Aisha, you know what I'm trying to say.
A little bit more. I mean, I feel like, I guess Nigerian versus Ghana, they're more outgoing. They're more like in your face. They're like out there, I guess, compared. Ghanaian men can be a little passive to me, in my experience.
And then my friends who were there, who obviously deal with Ghanaian men more frequently than me. I was shocked because when I first got there, they would give you these warnings, and I'd be like, well, it can't be true of all the guys. They're like, they're liars.
What were some of the warnings you got?
The biggest one was that they were liars and they're all married, and then they're all trying to convince you that you should be having affairs, and that is true. It's a weird thing because as American women, we're like, what? Hold on, but it's kind of the way you're a minority if you're not in that space, if you will. You know what I mean?
And I know the Ghanaian men
what's your problem?
A little younger. They get married a little younger, so a lot of them are already married around this age range, around our this age.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So they make you feel like you're strange because you're like, I'm not interested in a married guy. So that can be weird too, because it makes dating very strange.
Yes.
And here's the other thing. I absolutely do not like that there's an assumption that if a man and woman are together, that they're sleeping together. Now,
really?
We're New Yorkers. We don't have those types of issues. Everybody's moving, that they don't really look at people sitting together and assume that they're all Can I curse on here?
Yeah, you can curse.
Okay, fucking. So just because a man and a woman are sitting together or enjoying company or having drinks or whatever does not mean they're sleeping together. And I'll tell you, there was the game is so not that great that you can enjoy somebody's company but you're not, with no intention to ever sleep with them ever.
Yeah.
But you know, just because it's a
lot of assumptions that if you're with somebody that you're sleeping with the person.
That's good that you said that. Assumptions are very high there.
Okay.
Assumptions.
We have a question for you. Compare the cost of living in Ghana to other African countries. I guess to South Africa. Which is cheaper and why?
Okay. South Africa is a great quality of life. So what I mean by that is things are, as a Westerner, okay, going there, it was easier to adapt. Ghana is a little more spread out, so you kind of have to know where to go. There are shopping malls, but they're not that good. So it's like you kind of have to know that there's a store over here in East Legon, or there's a store over here in Airport, or you know what I'm saying. And then those places they're very far apart. There's really no central, right? There's really no central shopping district. I feel like as the country starts to develop, creating districts would behoove them, because it just makes it easier, especially even for retailers and entrepreneurs, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're getting a store all the way out yonder and nobody's coming there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So with the costs, what would you say? What would you like from on a day? Let's say you're going out to eat, you're hanging out with friends in South Africa, and you're doing that in Ghana. What would be the cost?
Again, it's the currency exchange. To me, it's a lot. It's expensive. You could
spend, but give it in dollars. What do you think it will cost?
You could spend $100. Okay, so one of my favorite restaurants there is an Italian restaurant, Bella Afrique. Yeah. The food is amazing, so it's worth the money. But you just can't do it often because it's pricey, right? Yeah. But you're getting quality. What are you making that face about?
No, I was reading a question.
So I would say that it's I would say $100. You could spend $100. You can get 2 cocktails and a full meal and maybe an appetizer, $100 easily
in Ghana.
And that could maybe you don't get an appetizer. I'm not even just talking about Bella Afrique. I'm talking about any
places are expensive. Drinks are $16, $20.
Drinks
which are the same thing as New York. They price their drinks the same like New York drinks.
Almost, right? It's crazy. When I got back to New York, I was like, did New York go down on their prices for drinks?
Nope.
But yeah. Yeah.
So how much would you spend in South Africa? You spend $100 in Ghana. How much would you end up spending in South Africa for the same kind of
much less? Maybe $20, $30 less.
Wow. Wow. So the follow-up question said, do you think the system in Ghana is not working? Does it mean the system in Ghana is not working?
So it depends on which system we're talking about, but
economic system.
Okay, the economic system I think is struggling, and I think that I don't know what it would take for it to get better. Maybe some economists to come through and figure out, how to scale salaries better there, so that people have livable salaries. I feel like local Ghanaians probably live at home for longer than they should because they can't afford to live anywhere else.
Absolutely.
And that's unfair. And I think, expecting someone to live off $100 a month is, they find a way, because the African people find a way.
They do.
This is what
sometimes $50 a month some people live on.
You understand what I'm saying? So they find a way, and so because they find a way, people think, oh, well, everything's hunky dory. I mean, they're alive, they're lit, and it's unfair. And then, unless you're working for a foreign company that pays you in your foreign currency, and you live in Ghana, it's extremely difficult. Because like we said, the price of living is so high.
Yeah. Did you, like, with your friends or anybody, did anybody try? Well, how's the job market in Ghana to you? Finding jobs, it's
not easy. And I think that if you're a foreigner and you decide to go there, you should go there with an entrepreneurial idea, or have
a remote job out here,
right? Because what you would basically be helping the economy, because you'd give local Ghanaians jobs.
Yeah.
But it's still a struggle. I mean, there's articles written about people who tried to go there and do things, and it becomes very difficult because of the corruption. And the amount of people you have to line, amount of pockets you have to line to get something done. So you then, if you're not prepared for that, you could sink. It's sink or swim.
Wow. So it's not really easy to navigate.
No.
I think that I guess we're under the impression that it's not, I know it's always great to maybe start a business to do something, but how do you think about, like, one thing I've noticed when going on is that people do things on their own time. They're not really, what's the word I'm looking for right now?
They ain't got that hustle in them. It's CP time. In America, we call it CP time. You guys call it Africa time. In India, they call it India man time. No. In Ghana, it's called GMT, Ghana man time. Which means if you say you're coming in South Africa, it's like they say now versus now.
Yeah.
Meaning now is two hours from now.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you can't, I don't know what it is about us brown folks and time, but we can't totally get it right,
So do things get, like, if let's say you want to get something fixed or you want something done, what is the time, the turnaround time compared to, I guess, being here?
I think that really depends on who you are and how much money you have. I think that depends a lot on that. And again, the idea of assuming because you're an American or from the UK and you speak English that's not, Pigeon, or that does not have the African accent, immediately the price goes.
Oh, the price rises with your accent. Oh, okay.
Girl. So my advice would be, if you're coming, definitely practice your Pigeon so, you can get by a little bit, without paying exorbitant prices for things. Because
or get a local, or hang out with a local pricing. Too.
Yeah. And it's really unfortunate, but they do that a lot. I actually had a friend of mine call an apartment complex. I said, let's see, you call and see what they say. Yes. They gave her 450 cedis less than what they quoted me because of her accent.
What? So your price was really high compared to hers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would also say, get you a good Ghanaian friend to negotiate and call on your behalf if you have to.
You see?
So that
you better get your accent. Chale.
Hey, chale.
I have a question from Mosito. Having seen what you've seen on all the countries you've traveled to on the continent, what value do you think you can add to those countries?
Wow. Okay. So this is a very good question. Whoever asked that question. So what I think is a huge misconception is that the West thinks they have to save Africa. Okay. And then you get to Africa and you're like, oh, wait a minute. But I mean, they seem to
got it together.
Again, there's segments of areas where there's, corruption, there's issues, but we're coming from the United States as Black people. So, we feel issues much harder than the average American, right? So that part you get used to. Well, we shouldn't have to get used to that. Let me take that back. Yeah. But I think that the value that we can bring to each other is not coming with this idea like you have to save that. Like, African people don't know what they're doing, okay? What we do have as Americans is innovation. That, not that they don't have innovation, but it's the way and the marketing that we're used to. There's certain things that we have a little bit of a leg up just because of America. I mean, America's one of the best marketers in the world.
Yes.
That's why everybody thinks they should be coming here. And then you live here and you come here and you're like, well, now this is not Mayberry. This is not what I
Exactly. So you think you would say your marketing skills is something that you bring to the table?
Absolutely. Marketing, I think marketing, and I think just, expanding. So what I mean by that is that we don't, as Americans, have it all together. And that is the way that we're, when the West talks about Africa, it's like, oh, we have to go save the children. And yes, there are some disparities that we do need to. Your organization definitely helps do that. Your foundation helps to do that, where you can create better facilities, right? But these Africans are so resourceful, so smart, very, they have ideas, but they just don't have execution. So what we can help with is execution, because we have that. Like, we like to go, we like to move, especially when you come from a city like New York. There's places, and sorry for the noise, there's places in the Midwest that are slow. They aren't moving either, right? In the Midwest of the United States or the South of the United States or whatever. There's even parts of New York that still look like 1800 something. So, and not the city, but like in the state of New York. So I think that what Americans should do is, when they come, now I can't speak for the British, but when you come, you have to come humble. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Where we are here to work with each other. There's no, there's so many ways we can work with each other and not against each other. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. And I feel like we, going to Africa made me really think that racism is the wrong fight. It is. Yeah, it is. It is. We have so many internal things that we need to resolve among us. We have so many resources among us, yet we allow the powers that be to make us think that we have to scratch and climb and, be crabs in a barrel when we really should be working with each other. Absolutely. That's how we're going to rise. Yeah.
One of the things that was the kind of disheartening to me in Ghana was the fact that, because Ghana is one of the second largest chocolate cocoa manufacturers. And some of those people that harvest the cocoa have never tasted chocolate.
But listen to this. People think that when they're getting Swiss chocolate, that it's like coming from there. And I feel like Ghana needs to get its marketing right. Like, the world needs to know that. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. The world needs to know that all the chocolate you eat is coming from Africa. It's not coming from the Swiss Alps. Yes. Hello. But guess what? They did better. Marketing and packaging.
Absolutely. We have a question from James Bond. Actually, I think it's a statement. Please remember, Ghana currency is the third strongest in Africa. So that is good for Ghana and expensive for visitors. I mean, because your currency is strong doesn't mean that inflation is really high. That's the problem. And it's not even good for match. Exactly. And also the cost of living in Ghana, because we're not the only ones going to be buying the products. People that have basic Ghanaian salaries are going to be buying these products. So when you talk about it, could be the strongest currency, but somebody may not be able to afford these
That's prices. A good point, Aisha. That's a great point, because when you think about that as an entrepreneur, if you're coming there, you have to realize that your price point and your margins aren't going to be as high as they might be elsewhere, because again, the local economy has to be, or the local people have to be able to afford it, because the tourists come typically October to December, January.
That time, November, December.
Yeah, so toward the holiday season. So it's like there's a stretch of time where you can boom, boom, boom. But if you don't make a whole bunch of money during that time, then the rest of the year you kind of it lags.
Exactly.
So you have to really be realistic with your expectations.
Absolutely.
Especially as an entrepreneur.
So you were there for a good amount of time, almost like you were almost living there. You were like, at that point, what was the reason that you were like, you know what, I need to go back, maybe, and refresh and come back? So what really pushed you to say, you know what, I'm gonna just head out?
Okay, so I did not like the price inflation for us, right? Yeah. Now, granted, the Americans have raped and pillaged Africa for what it's worth.
Period.
But we haven't, and we don't benefit from that, unfortunately. Yeah. So it's that I got annoyed with. Yeah. I had the other thing was you have to recalibrate.
Yes.
You have to have money to be there. You just have to. You can't just, unless you just, got a trust fund. Or
you got a sugar daddy.
Or that. Well, there apparently they got more sugar mamas than daddies, but we're not gonna go there. So
there's more sugar mommies in Ghana than sugar daddies. I love that.
So I didn't experience sugar mamas, but I didn't experience no sugar daddies either. So I can't really speak on that. But yeah, you not in Ghana at least. So you can't really.
I'm not even gonna go there.
You're right. Yes, let's not. So you really have to recalibrate. And as someone who grew up in the West, and I think a lot of my friends in Ghana will agree, you kind of have to go back to appreciate it and then come back when you feel better and when you feel your pockets aligned a little better, so that you know. What I kind of did was just jump in without full knowledge. So now if I go back, I have a lot more knowledge about how it works. I have a lot more experience. I have a lot more awareness. So, and then I have some great content. One thing I will say is the people that I encountered there, with the exception of a few, were just such a pleasure to be around and to get to know and, to experience and to have experiences with. And again, there were, my what actually made me leave Ghana, was just, I got tired of too much talking, not enough doing, too much.
Say it again. Too much talking, not enough doing.
Doing, yeah, that can wear
People
on you.
Making promises and promises never come to fruition.
Hello, you got it. That weighs on you after a while.
Yes.
And then I'm a single woman, so the man pool is,
Wait, somebody just asked that. Don Chuku just asked that question. Can you tell me more about Ghanaian men? Don Chuku wants to know, what about the dating and Ghanaian men? Tell us more about that. Talk about that, the dating pool.
So there's this assumption. I don't know, reality TV with Tamar Braxton, and I don't know the other ones who are dating African men, these rich African men. The Black women seem to think that when you come to Africa, you're going to find a prince and you're going to find a king. And yeah, so that's a big misconception. Like, the kings, if you will, they won't be in public spaces. So you're not likely to meet a king. Okay. There will be those prancing around as chiefs, but now chiefs don't have a whole lot of power to do much, right? So it's like you're a sitting, what do you call that? Not sitting duck. Sitting duck, is that what it is?
Sitting duck, yeah.
Right. So you have a title that means something in your remote village, but when it comes to sitting at a business table and, or moving something in the government, or, moving a needle, it's not really that likely that they can. Some of them can if they deal in the private sector as well. But these chiefs are not allowed to deal with the government. So, and a lot of things can't move in Ghana without the government approving.
Yep.
So so a lot of Americans get got by people saying that, oh, I'm a chief, I'm a king, I'm a this, and to us, we love, hell, coming to America. That's the kind of,
that's like what you think. There's a romantic concept of what an African king or African man is, compared to some of what you do get as options of dating.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And so, the other thing is that because the disparity is so big between haves and have-nots, a lot of wealthier men will have a wife, 10 girlfriends, a couple of baby mamas. It's like they have so many options.
Yeah.
So when women think that they're going to go there and meet this rich African guy, it's like, it's kind of a farce. It's not really that way. It's just so y'all know, temper your expectations.
Yeah.
And I think that women have this, to your point, very romantic idea about what these men have to offer.
Absolutely.
And be very cautious of land scams, because people say they have land, they can sell you land, they give you land, Sometimes they do. A lot of times they don't. And I've had friends who have had real issues with that. Like, you can't be an American and buy land in Ghana from America. That don't make sense.
Please tell them again, because people think that they can buy. There's a lot of, actually a lot of diasporas, not even just Ghanaians. There's a lot of African Americans, people from London that are running these scams on people that are here. And people need to know that you can't literally buy the land. You can lease land in Ghana for about 99 years. And you have to make sure you're leasing from the person who owns the land, because they could sell you something and you go there and it belongs to so and so, and you start building your house.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. That's exactly right. So if you're going to do business there, do the due diligence and go there. Yeah. Right. Or you can hire me and I'll go there for you, because
that's a great. I want to segue to that. A lot of people, before, people get romantic. Before you move to Ghana, go and visit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you cannot do business remotely unless you've already established a relationship with people, and like, okay, you're doing remote work, that's already been contracted. Exactly. But to think that, somebody send you an email saying, I got land I could sell to you, it's very likely you'll get got. Very likely you'll get got. When you actually do come, your land is gone, built on, or it wasn't that person's land in the first place. So you got scammed. Exactly. And I think that's why they say that there's more. And here's another thing we should talk about, is that Ghanaians like to point the finger at Nigerians a lot. And I found that very problematic.
Really?
Yeah, because
as a Ghanaian, Nigerian, I want to hear more about this. They point the finger, they blame Nigerians for a lot of the scamming, right?
And because Nigeria has had its issues around safety, especially like Lagos, let's say, people assume that Nigerians are not safe, or that they're criminals, or that you can't do business with them. And I think that is very false. I think everybody, you have to do the due diligence when you're doing business with anyone. Absolutely. But I've actually found more Ghanaians to be corrupt than I did Nigerians in my personal experience, right? So the safety issues are different, because if you go to Lagos, you have to watch your purse, and you see I like to wear jewelry. Probably do that in Lagos, but in Ghana, you can wear all the jewelry you want, but you got to watch these scammers, because it's not that safe. Like, you may be physically safe, but it's not really all that safe in terms of being scammed and, getting robbed in different ways. Yeah. You see what I mean?
But I think with the inflation stuff and with things going on, crime is on the rise in Ghana. I've heard from my friends in Ghana that people want to go home, get home on time. Crime is on the rise because people can't find jobs.
It's the disparity. Big disparities like that create crime. And I said that when I was there. I said, this is going to implode eventually, because you can't have those kind of disparities. And then you bring foreigners in with money, or with perceivably a lot of money. And then either they get scammed, or they get turned off, or everything's so much more expensive for them. And so then they leave, or, they're only there for a short amount of time. They're not there to actually stay and live. So then you have a short stint of time where the economy gets a little bit of a push. Absolutely. But every other day, it's just, if I could say anything, I would really, because Ghana is so rich in resources. Yeah.
Very rich. And we have something from somebody from this guy named Stanley. Hi, Stanley. Stanley says that there's scammers everywhere. We know that, Stanley. Absolutely. We know there's scammers everywhere. Absolutely. But we're talking about Ghana today.
Stanley, you must be from Ghana. Stanley, you from Ghana. Stanley,
you from Ghana? Are you getting in? Inquiring minds want to know.
You got that right. You got that absolutely right. But yes, we are talking about Ghana right now. And so I think that I actually am very interested in going to Nigeria. Okay. I find Nigerian people so interesting. I know that the country is dealing with a whole lot of shit, but what country isn't? The world is a mess right now.
Yeah, the world is a mess right now because of this whole panini has messed up a lot of people. We call it panini now. This kind of panini has really made it really hard for everybody across the world. Money is not moving like how it is. Travel is not how it is, fluid. So the panini has affected a lot of places as well as Ghana and so on and so forth. Stanley said, you know he's Ghanaian. And Eric Terry says, preach. So let me ask you, what are some beautiful places? I saw, because everybody wants to move to Accra. Everybody wants to go to Accra. But there's other places in Ghana that are so stunning, so beautiful. I saw in some of your videos, you hung out at some really beautiful places. I've visited some really beautiful places. Ghana is huge, but people all are congregated in Accra, and it becomes like a New York City kind of like feel, right?
Right. Yeah. So, unfortunately, and this is why I have to get back, I didn't get to experience a lot of Ghana, and I really regret that. But there were a lot of constraints that were stopping me from doing that. So that's why I said I have to come recalibrate.
Yeah.
And go back.
Get that coin up. It's about getting that money up to go to Ghana. When you want to travel to Ghana, you get that coin up. Even if you're Uber is still not cheap in Ghana. And you don't want to.
Oh my God! Can we talk about the Uber nightmares? Oh,
talk about your Uber nightmares.
My goodness, I can't even imagine that I survived it, but it was so annoying. So Uber in Accra is kind of like a non-thing, okay? Yeah. And I'll say this: so there's Uber and there's Bolt, which is an alternative Uber.
Yeah.
But the issue is that the drivers live so far out. But the money is in Accra. So they come to Accra to drive and they don't know shit about Accra. So they end up driving you. Oh, ma'am, I don't know. I'm like, this is your city. You're supposed to tell me where to go. Exactly. So they rely on their navigation system. But if the navigation or the, what do you call that when you go to a dead area? Yeah. If it ain't working, they don't know where to go. So I would say, if Uber's listening, train the drivers to know a little bit more about the city that they're working, because it is so frustrating. And then every driver's AC doesn't work.
The AC never works in the Uber. I think I got one driver with his AC working, and I gagged.
Girl,
the AC is always broken. Madam, I will fix it tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll go to the mechanic.
I said, who's holding up all the antifreeze from getting in Ghana? What the hell? Why is everybody's fucking AC don't work? Like, can y'all get some antifreeze? Could y'all send a whole thing? What do you call them big things that you send that? So these drivers can turn on the damn AC, because it is too hot to sit in traffic. And the traffic is like LA traffic. If you don't know what LA traffic is, shit, you're lucky. You're lucky, because LA traffic is not cute. So, but they turn on the ACs here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you two closing questions. The first one is like, so did you think you'll move back to Ghana again with a different kind of mindset? Like, would you move back and try at it again? Or are you just gonna be a visitor going back and forth maybe?
But I think I would say yes to both those questions. And the latter question would be first. It would behoove me and anyone else who's considering to do a little bit more back. Actually, the people that I know, the Americans that I know that are there, that have made a life and are successful. Yeah. That's what they did. And that's what they advised me to do. Yeah. Go back and forth a few times, get the lay of the land, figure out where you actually want to be, what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work. Yes. Before you just jump into, hey, let's move to Africa. And it's a very romantic idea, because, we were also in the brink of huge racial issues in the United States. Exactly. So a lot of Black people said, let me get out of here and see what else the world has to offer. And I was definitely one of them. So the thing about being in Ghana is that you're not, someone like me is not Black to them. If you're not black with black skin, you're not Black. I'm like, my daddy's Black. How you gonna tell me I'm not Black? They go, you're not Black. So to them, Black is defined different. Right? So what do they call Ibroni?
Obroni and Obibini.
Obroni.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which means stranger. The literal definition is stranger, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, so they call lighter skinned people Obroni, and it's interesting. And then in South Africa, I found it interesting because they would call me colored, and not that there's anything wrong with being colored, but there's a very cultural
nuance with that word.
Correct. It's cultural, which I don't attach to. So I used to get mad there too, like I ain't colored, because that's a whole different thing. I am mixed race. My mama's Indian, my daddy's black. So it's a very, whereas in the United States, they got the one drop rule. So, a lot of people walking around with who are black and they don't know it.
Exactly. So before we go, Priya, leave us with one strong word of advice for anybody that wants to move to Ghana. What should they do? What steps should they take before, give us one, last kind of wording that kind of encapsulates that move?
I would say for this and for anything in life, and my girlfriends, my girlfriends, they laugh at me because anytime they meet a new man, I say, girl, 90-day trial period. Okay. And that is my rule for almost everything, because the 90 days will tell you a lot. 3 months, which is technically it's the first trimester for life to even begin, right? So I would say 90-day trial period. And then when people tell you, I have to say, I'm actually saying this to myself, when people tell you about things or people, you don't necessarily have to imbibe everything that people say, but it needs to sit somewhere so that you build context.
Yes.
You realize that a lot of things that people would say or things that they would warn you, you may think, oh, that may not happen to me, so let me go ahead, and then you see that
it happens to you.
Yeah. So you have to really take advice seriously.
Yeah.
And then I would say, 90-day trial period. If I was going to say one last thing, it would be 90-day trial period.
90-day trial period. So 90-day trial period, you guys. Try it out. Travel to Ghana. Enjoy the vacation. Enjoy that beach bumming life. Enjoy that first. Then come back to chill out, hang out, and see the lay of the land. Stay with the locals. And then try the 3-month rule, right?
The 3-month rule, absolutely. Oh, let me ask you, what was your favorite local restaurant there that you enjoyed?
Oh my God. It's called Treat. It's called Treat Restaurant in where is it at? It said, oh my God, why don't I have the place? It's Treat Restaurant. Chooks, where's Treat at? Treat Restaurant. I'm talking about the local foods, and then they also had continental foods. Everything they served was absolutely excellent. What was your favorite restaurant?
I would say there was a place called Chop House. They made really good tilapia and banku and tilapia.
Oh, you like your banku and tilapia? Priya, you was eating the local food, though. Hey!
And I even made some palava sauce, which I really enjoyed.
You made palava sauce? I couldn't even make palava sauce, and I was born in that.
And wait. So jollof rice.
Jollof, yes.
I like Ghanaian jollof rice, I have to say.
Interesting for you, Priya. I like
Nigerian, but I'm not saying that other jollof is not good. I do enjoy. I like that burn. I like when they burn the bottom, the burnt part.
I mean, definitely Ghana jollof is my second in runnings, but I definitely like the wache. Wache is off the chain.
Oh yeah. Wache is
off the chain, and I love kenke. Kenke is my favorite food in Ghana. Actually, I love kenke from off the street. Get you the tilapia, get you the pepper,
the fried plantain. Fried plantains are so good.
Oh, you like the fried plantains, the ginger.
Yes.
I love it too.
And wait, oh no, kelewele. That's the other one.
It's kelewele, that's the plantain. Yes.
And
I like chofi. Oh my God, we got into food. I like chofi. Turkey. I like turkey butts. Fried turkey butts. They call chofi. I love it.
So mine is the fresh pineapple and ginger juices.
Okay. Yes.
That is. And it's so good for your stomach, for digestion, and it's fresh. And it's like, when I came to LA, I was like, they don't have that here.
I guess that, one thing that you can take away is that the freshness of everything. That's one thing I don't hope they don't lose with all of this, like, fertilizer and all of that. The freshness of the food is really something that's out of this world in Ghana.
I agree.
James Bond said Ghana is not forcing anyone to come. There are 54 countries in Africa, and we're going to visit them, James.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, darling. Thanks, James Bond, for your input.
Thank you, James. Thank you. We didn't know there were 54 countries. Thank you. We're also, I'm from 3 of those 54, James. J. Petty Koofman said turkey butts. Yes, we love turkey chofi. The fried turkey butts are amazing. And what? Eric Terry, we're going to close. Priya needs to pitch the show, 90-day trial.
Yes.
90-day trial. Oh my God. Priya, thank you so much for opening, like shining a light on your stay and some of the things you got. And go from some of the positives and some of the negatives, because everywhere you go in America and wherever in the world, there's negatives and positives, and we have to be real and talk about both sides, right? Exactly. We can't just like sugarcoat everything. It's not it's not a merry-go-round, but it's a way to go and it's a way to do. So thank you for coming, Priya. Hopefully we pick this up again when you go back for your next 90-day trial. Okay, thanks, Priya.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for staying on. I saw you guys stayed on. This is my first live. I'm really excited. Do stay, keep it locked. I'm going to bring in different African guys, florists, folks on the show to talk to them, ask them their experience, how they became who they are. Thank you for staying with us. And thanks to Priya for telling us her story. Make sure you comment, share, and like this video. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. It's Glitteratie. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon. Bye-bye. Let me end this broadcast.